Question 1. Express 0.146 as a percentage. To convert a decimal to a percentage, we multiply by 100. This moves the decimal point 2 places to the right. At the moment, our decimal point is before the 1. If we move it 2 places to the right, it ends up between the 4 and the 6. And then we just ignore the 0 at the front there to convert 0.146 into a percentage of 14.6%. Question 2. Express 1.68 as a percentage. Now 1.68 is over 1, so as a percentage we might be expecting something larger than 100%. But anyway, let's have a look. To convert a decimal to a percentage, we multiply by 100, which moves the decimal point 2 places to the right. So we go from having the decimal point between the 1 and the 6 to having it after the 8. So we'll kind of have 168 point something. We don't need anything if the decimal point is off to the right there. We can just call it 168%. So I was kind of expecting a percentage that's larger than 100 because we have larger than a whole number in the original decimal that was quoted. Question 3. Find 50% of 80. Now many of you might know this already. 50% is a half, isn't it? And a half of 80 isn't all that hard to do. Well, let's get systematic about it. Finding a percentage of a quantity, we will write the percentage as a fraction over 100. So we'll turn 50% into 50 over 100. Of kind of means times, multiply by the quantity there. So of kind of gets translated to be a multiply. And then we'll just have our 80 there. So when we type that into our calculator or think about it hard enough, we'll end up with 40 there. So half of 80 we knew as being 40, and we might have got that without thinking about it too hard. But it's good to have a bit of a system, because when the numbers get trickier, we'll need a bit of a system. Question 4. Find 25% of 40 kilograms. Now many of you might recognize that 25% is a quarter, so you could say to yourself a quarter of 40, and you might get an answer pretty straight away there. But let's have a look at the system. To find a percentage of a quantity, we write the percentage as a fraction over 100. So we've got 25%, which will convert in our minds to 25 over 100. Of kind of means multiply. So we'll multiply by the quantity, and the quantity is 40 in this case. We'll put it as 40 over 1 just to be clear. So if we calculate that, we end up with 10 kilograms. Some of you might have already thought that a quarter of 40 is 10 and got the answer straight away, but that's how we'd work it out if we're not sure. Question 5. Find 10% of 60 kilometers. Finding the percentage of a quantity, we'll write the percentage as a fraction over 100. We've got 10%, we'll turn that into 10 over 100 in our thinking. We'll multiply by the quantity because of can be translated as a times. And we'll just have the quantity written out over 1, just to be a bit clearer. So if we calculate that out, we'll end up with an answer of 6 kilometers. So 10% of 60 kilometers is 6 kilometers. Question 6. Express 15 marks out of 20 as a percentage. We'll write the mark as a fraction. So 15 out of 20, 15 over 20. And to turn a fraction into a percentage, we multiply by 100. So here we could multiply across the top and across the bottom, or just type it into your calculator. You get a final percentage of 75%. Pretty good mark, really. Question 7. Express 30 marks out of 50 as a percentage. We'll write the mark as a fraction. 30 out of 50 is 30 over 50. And we'll multiply the fraction by 100. Final answer there. 30 marks out of 50 becomes 60%. Question 8. Increase 20 by 10%. We will find the percentage amount that they're talking about, and we'll do that by turning the percentage into a fraction over 100, and we'll multiply by the quantity there. So 10 over 100 is 10%. Of means times, and we're trying to find 10% of 20. So we get that as being 2. And then because the question said to increase 20 by the 10%, we will need to add it to the original. The original number was 20. We found that the 10% was 2, so we'll add those two together to get the increased amount. See, we were expecting an answer, or we need an answer that's larger than 20, because the question said to increase 20 by a certain amount. So we're expecting a larger amount there. So the final answer is 22. Question 9. Decrease 70 by 10%. We'll find the percentage amount. So we'll put the 10% as 10 over 100 and multiply that by the quantity there. And we'll get an answer of 7, so that's 10% of 70. And the question said to decrease 70 by that amount. So we're wanting to decrease 70 by that 7. So to decrease, we're going to subtract. So we'll subtract it from the original there. The original was 70, so we'll do 70 minus that 10% amount of 7, giving us a final answer of 63. We were expecting a final answer that's less than 70 because the question involved a decrease from 70. Question 10. Find 5% of $300. Finding the percentage of a quantity, we will write the percentage as a fraction over 100. In this case we've got 5%, so we'll write that as 5 over 100. Of means times, so we'll multiply that by the quantity. So 5 over 100 times 300 in this case. When we calculate that out, we'll get a final answer of $15 this time.